Yes.
We're here to talk about books because you know I can go off. Talk about your latest book, The Struggles of Manhood. And I read a little bit about it. And I know that you're a coach. You are a great voice. But I think that from what I understood, that you're writing that from a therapeutic aspect, and that people need to understand that there are certain hidden things within men that they don't feel comfortable in releasing, not necessarily to anyone.
Yes. So the book, The Struggles of a Man, came when I was in prayer one morning, and God showed me, he said, there are things that men need to talk about that they don't talk about. He said, so I want you to be the first to do it. And so I ended up talking about some things that I had gone through in my personal life. As a child, I'd been molested, and it caused me to have a lot of issues with trust and all that stuff. And then my father died when I was 6. So I dealt with a lot of abandonment issues because my father said this one thing to me before he passed. He dropped me off at home and he said, son, I'll be back in the morning so we can get our hair cut just like we always do. I promise. Mm-hmm. And so my dad died about 3 hours later. And so, of course, after my father passed, I dealt with the issues of abandonment. I felt like it was my fault that he died in a car accident. Mm-hmm. So there were so many things I dealt with. And then, of course, as I continued to live my life, there were other things that I went through in relationships with friends, relationships with females and stuff like that. And so what I learned out of all those experiences is that I wasn't the only one going through that stuff. Because yes. I was meeting people who went through some of the same stuff, but they didn't know that when they were talking to me, I had gone through some of the same stuff until I said it. And so God told me to just basically write this book from my own personal experiences and things that I heard from other people and share it with these men. And not only the men though, because there are women right now who are in relationships with men, or they have sons that are going through some of these things and they are afraid to talk about it. And so it helps you to kind of find some of these indicators of what may be going on with them, instead of, oh, he must be cheating, or he must be doing this. A lot of times it's none of those things. It's this guy has some internal things going on that he's afraid to talk about, because guess what? You have trust issues. You already feel insecure about yourself. There are things that you go through where you're like, okay, if I tell this person this, will they run away like everybody else? So that's why the book was written.
That's good. God chose you to be a forerunner, to put a mark in the earth that cannot be erased, that anybody that picks up the book, because we don't have very many African American men speaking to issues of that sort.